Windows was first developed, it was the first graphical user interface for the PC, but the first ones to actually create the graphical user interface was on the Mac. And they were the first ones to have a drag and drop and the first ones to have a mouse. And then Microsoft, Bill Gates decided they had to get in on the show, so they created Windows. And so what we've been doing so far is we just ask for input or we read a file in. Well, the actual way that's handled now in programs is by having more of a buttons and event handlers and things like that. So that's what this chapter is about, how to build a graphical user interface. And so if you look at the next, let me enlarge this a little bit, the next page, what is assigned in this chapter is that there's a Headfirst TVN is a station, and this, even though this is a hypothetical kind of a silly problem, these program requirements are actually what happens when you're given a job. Is you're told by your client, okay, this is what I want the program to do, and then you need to figure out programmatically how to do it. But this one also goes into some actual pseudocode in the book, the way they do pseudocode, which is a little different than the way I did it in my old book. But it doesn't matter. Pseudocode is just, the purpose of it is for me to see and for you to know when you look at a problem, can I logically step through it? Not, do I know the Python syntax to do it? That's not as big of a question as, can I logically do what they want me to do? And then we use Python to apply that to see if our logic was correct. But what they want you to do here is to write a program that a television host can use, and the program is to do the following. You've had a few conversations with the television host and determined a list of program requirements. The host wants to be prompted after a question has been asked to press either 1 for a correct answer or 2 for a wrong answer. Based on the key pressed, an appropriate sound effect needs to play. The program needs to remember how many answers were correct and how many were wrong. So the host will end the quiz by pressing 0. Then the program will display the number of right, wrong, and asked questions. So this is pretty straightforward logic, and they want you on the next page to code the pseudocode for it. So we're going to look at the actual pseudocode here, and this will be the last thing we do. But what it asks us is the host wants these 3 values at the end of the program to print out. So he wants to know the number asked, so there's a variable, number correct, another variable, and a number wrong. And so we're initializing all these to 0 so that we know that we start out with no value in these. Then you would begin the program by asking the host to make a choice. And these are the parts of a loop that we need to remember, regardless of what language or scripting language we're writing in. A loop always has what's called an initialize, where you initialize the variable that's going to be tested in your loop to determine loop or not. And then at the bottom of the loop, question? Oh no, somebody's coming in. At the bottom of the loop, you should ask the same thing that you did before you entered the loop. Because you know what would happen if you don't ask down here? What would happen if this response stays 1 or 2? What happens to my loop? Do I ever give it a chance to get out of the loop? If I don't do this and ask and tell the user they have to put in a 0 to end, this loop would go on indefinitely. You see that? So if I set it up here, say to 1, when I come into the loop, it says while the host response is not 0, and so it's 1, and I drop in this if statement, and I forget to put this in my loop, then it'll keep going up here and say, oh, it's still not 0. So I do this again. Oh, still not 0. Do it again. So there's no way to get out of the loop if I'm not sure to put my increment or my reestablish my variable down here. So those 3 things in the while loop are very important. The initialize, the loop, test, and then to always either increment or counter or give the option for the user to change it. And then at the very end, all I do is display the values of those 3 variables. Okay, any questions? All right, then this little conversation basically says that you have to write code that is compatible across all operating systems, whether it's Windows, OS X, or Linux. And the sound effect is the one that gives us a little bit of trouble because there's no sound effect in Python. So they tell you here to download Pygame, which has some sound effects in it, but that's a big hassle. So I had a student that had found a sound effect that's a Python file called vlc.py, and I put it in Evernote for you. But on Thursday, let's see if I can get past the next page without flipping real fast. So here's where he says to stop and download Pygame and do all of these steps. Don't do this because it will take you a while and it still may not work on your computer. So we go to the next page, and this is where we'll start on Thursday in my lecture class, and hopefully I'll be more successful in recording it this time. And then we'll use the vlc.py, and in Evernote I've placed that as a download right here. And so you can go ahead and go through all of Chapter 7, and hopefully on Thursday we'll take care of this, and then there will be a quiz. Oh no, I was telling you all we're going to wait and do it over 7 and 8. So that's the problem that I want you to work on, and to read Chapter 7 before you watch the Thursday lecture, okay? And I believe that's it, if you guys don't have any questions. Oh, I see Brian came in too, and Aaron. Did you guys just get here? Oh, Jeremy was here. He's gone again, though. Okay, you guys that came in later, do you all have any questions? I recorded what I did. I did Evernote. I went through the 3 examples that are in D2L of test number 3. Let everyone know that if you didn't put a test number 3 up, you'll have an opportunity to either your final will take the place of it. I haven't decided whether I'll do that or drop one of the lowest score. So that if you can understand those examples, then that's really great, because that will be what we'll use in our next test on the GUIs. I got here, David. Okay, great, Aaron. All right, so I just kind of felt bad that my recording didn't work, so I wanted to at least, and it makes it easier to record if I have some students in there. So if there's not any questions, then I'll let you guys go, and then this will, oh, you said, Kevin, about Chapter 6, Quiz 6. Okay, it still didn't show up in your D2L, because in my D2L, it's showing, and I know some students took it, so I'm not sure what's happening. Are you refreshing? Like mine shows right over here that Chapter 6 availability ends April 16th at 11:59 p.m. That's since I reopened it.
Yeah, I see that now. But I was just saying, back then when I sent you that screenshot showing you the log of everything I've had over the past week, Chapter 6 wasn't there. Because usually, of course, I get a notice when a quiz is ending, and that's usually when I remind myself to jump on it. But I didn't see anything for Chapter 6, so I completely ignored it.
Huh. Yeah, because it should have, I didn't change where it was supposed to display in the calendar, but you may have, I didn't put it up until Sunday, I believe. And then it ended at 9:30 this morning. So it should have shown that, but I'm not sure what happened on yours. But anyway, in any event, I opened it back up, so shouldn't be a problem there. All righty. I will, hopefully y'all can watch for that lecture to be recorded, and then you can watch it whenever it's convenient for you on the rest of Chapter 7 then. Thanks for coming. See you guys later.
Appreciate it.